Hey everyone, and happy Mario Day. That's right, as I'm recording this, it is March 10th, 2024. It is Mario Day, and with Mario Day comes a lot of Mario news, specifically from Nintendo's Twitter account and a video that they actually posted showcasing different kinds of Mario-related news. So today in this video, I wanted to talk about one particular piece of news that came out of that Mario Day video, which was basically the main segment, and that was all about the next Super Mario Bros. Movie, or at least a movie that takes place in the Mario world from Nintendo and Illumination. So I wanted to kind of share my own 2 cents and my thoughts on this news, which, of course, spoiler alert, it's very positive news. I'm very happy to hear this news. I'm happy that they are once again teaming up and making another film. So what's this news about the Mario movie? What's going on with the Mario movie now? Well, Nintendo and Illumination announced that they are making another Mario movie, and it'll release in April 2026. So it's still a fair ways away, but nonetheless, it's nice to know that within 2 years or so, we'll see another Mario movie from Nintendo and Illumination. Now that being said, the biggest question that I have, and the biggest question that I've seen from other people on social media as well, is whether or not this is actually going to be a direct sequel or follow-up to the Super Mario Bros. Movie from 2013, from last year. And some of you might be thinking, well, of course it'll be that. Of course it'll be a sequel. Why would it not be? And the reason why I'm somewhat thinking about this is because there are actually a few indicators that suggested maybe something else, although if you want my own personal opinion right off the bat, I do genuinely think that this will be a direct sequel to the movie that we saw in 2013, although again, maybe only about 80 to 90% sure. But Nintendo did come out with this Twitter post, and it reads, "This is Miyamoto," because of course it is. "We are now creating a new animated film based on the world of Super Mario Bros. This film is planned for release in theaters on April 3rd, 2026 in the US and many other markets, and throughout the month of April in other territories." So just from that first tweet alone, there's another one after this one, but I'll talk about this one for a little bit. But just from this first tweet alone, we're seeing what I think is a little hint. Of course, details are minimal about this at this point, but the first hint is basically we're creating a new animated film based on the world of Super Mario Bros. So they didn't directly confirm that they are making a sequel, but of course, again, it could go either way. I'm not suggesting just because they're not hinting or they're not directly saying the word sequel in these tweets, I'm not suggesting that it's not going to be a sequel. I'm just kind of reading this word for word. And word for word, we're not seeing the word sequel. We're not seeing a follow-up. We're not even seeing, let's follow Mario and Luigi on another whirlwind adventure or whatever. We're not seeing like a description like that, right? Right now it's just, we're creating a new animated film based on the world of Super Mario Bros. So that could really mean a lot of things because the world of Super Mario Bros. Is very, very vast. It's big. It's full of potential stories to tell. So they could go in so many ways. So the second part of this tweet is also pretty interesting. "We'll let you know the details once we're ready to share more, of course. This time too, the staff at Illumination and Nintendo are working together. Of course. We're thinking about broadening Mario's world further, and it'll have a bright and fun story. We hope you look forward to it." Okay, so we're seeing some information here, of course. They're not ready to reveal too many details just yet, but they did say that Illumination and Nintendo are in fact working together once again, so that's good. And then they say this, "We're thinking about broadening Mario's world further." It's interesting because once again, I like to point out that Mario's world is big, it's vast. There's so many games and so many sources to pull from, so much lore. Of course, when we say lore, maybe we're not necessarily talking about story, but we're talking about the world building. We're talking about the worlds, the characters. There's so much to pull from. And if you want to get into story in Mario games, well, just look no further than Mario RPGs, right? So there's also stuff that they could pull from those. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that this is overall very positive news, and I would love a direct sequel, direct follow-up to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. In other words, the Super Mario Bros. Movie 2, or whatever they might end up calling it. It might really just be called Super Mario Bros. 2 at this point, but who's to say, right? I'm just saying, from these tweets, it really does feel like, it's vague enough that you can kind of make your own assumptions, even as a fan, like even as a Mario Nintendo fan myself. It's fun to just think about the possibilities of what this means. Maybe I'm reading too deeply into it, but at the same time, they didn't necessarily confirm through and through that this is going to be a direct sequel to the movie that we saw in 2023. So this could be one of so many things. It could be that reported Donkey Kong spin-off that they were talking about with Seth Rogen. That'd be pretty funny. Or it could be a Luigi's Mansion movie. That would be sick, right? I would love a Luigi's Mansion movie. Of course, there are no cast really attached to this movie just yet, but we do have some information about the creative leads. Of course, we have Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic, who are returning to direct this movie. So we have that. And of course, they're the ones that directed the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So naturally, if they're bringing these two back, if they're bringing this pair back for another animated Mario film, it's likely that it is going to be a direct sequel. It is likely because they're bringing back the creative heads of the last project. Many of them are returning, and they even say that it's the same animation studio and everything. So this is pretty exciting. I think there's a lot to take from this, and I think it's a very, very exciting possibility. The fact that right now, as of now, this could be literally anything. It is most likely going to be a follow-up. I'm 90% sure it's probably going to be Super Mario Bros. Movie 2, but this vagueness in this tweet kind of opens the doors to other possibilities, and I don't want to write those possibilities off because they are exciting possibilities. It would be cool to see a Luigi's Mansion movie, right? It would be cool to see a potential Donkey Kong spin-off movie, Donkey Kong Country movie or whatever. It would be so awesome. But of course we have that tease at the end of the Super Mario Bros. Movie teasing Yoshi, of course. It's a mild spoiler, but let's be real, Yoshi kind of already popped up anyways in the movie, even before that post-credit scene. It's not really that much of a spoiler at this point, but it seems like that is something that they're hyping up. So potentially Yoshi could come into the picture. But one last thing that I want to point out here. One last potentially exciting prospect, right? Here we go. We're thinking about broadening Mario's world further. Now, before I hype myself up or hype other people up, I do want to point out they are saying that they want to broaden Mario's world further. But just bear with me for a second. We did hear about those rumors, I think it was a few months ago, where the person reporting these rumors suggested that they had heard that Illumination approached Nintendo to create a cinematic Nintendo universe, so to speak. Maybe it's animated, maybe it's live-action animation hybrid or whatever. But the point is, under Illumination, there were rumors that Illumination themselves pitched a potential Super Smash Bros. Universe to Nintendo. So could this be alluding to that they're thinking about broadening Mario's world further, as in further beyond the world of Mario? Again, this is a little bit of a reach, and I'm not suggesting that it's realistic. I'm not suggesting that it's going to happen. It's just something that I kind of thought about. I'm like, if they're going to broaden Mario's world further, then in many ways you could kind of consider the world of Smash Bros. To be adjacent, if anything, to Mario's world. So if they're saying they're broadening the world of Mario a little bit further, maybe they're going to go a little bit beyond that. But again, I understand that that is a bit of a reach, but it is something as a fan I would absolutely love to see a build-up, mind you, a very careful and cautious and well-executed build-up to a potential Smash Bros. Crossover film, or just a Smash Bros. Universe where we see some franchises collide with one another every now and then. That will be pretty awesome. Even though Donkey Kong does take place in the world of Mario, it's still separate enough that it's had its own games that didn't really have the Mario branding, that even Donkey Kong is somewhat separate from Mario. It is within the same universe that's established, but even then we saw a crossover between Donkey Kong and Mario in the Mario movie. So I do think that anything is possible. Did anything really come of that rumor where Illumination approached Nintendo and pitched them that idea? It's hard to say if it's even legit, right? Apparently the source is a legitimate source, but Again, I'm not here vouching for rumors. I would rather get confirmed stuff, honestly, so yeah. But that's just my 2 cents on the matter, guys. This was just more of a thoughts video than anything else. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed listening to my thoughts. And that being said, if you liked it, please consider giving the video a like, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.